Hi, this is Bill Whyte.
And I'm Linda Davis.
And I'm Lang Scott.
And this is real life, real music.
Real life, real music radio. With your host, Kyle Hutton.
So, okay, very quickly, I'm going to tell on myself, okay? Because it kind of just happened again. And I'm really telling on myself because you're sitting here, Lang, kind of taking my life into my own hands. My first trip to Nashville was probably back in 1992. You know, I went to seek my fame and fortune with a little cassette tape and a few songs on it. And I had a friend that I had grown up with, and we had both gone to A&M, and she had graduated a year before and moved off to Nashville and was working for Reba McEntire in the fan club department, okay? Now, you might think that the most impressive thing about visiting Starstruck Entertainment was the fact that I got to see, inside the fan club, I got to see like Reba McEntire lipstick holders and Reba McEntire, you know, like you normally think koozies and T-shirts. Dude, if you could put a name on it, she had it down in the fan club department down there, and they would send it out. But what happened on that visit was my friend Holly, she took me upstairs and said, I want to introduce you to some people. And we walked around the corner, and Miss Linda Davis was sitting in her office at Starstruck Entertainment. And I walked in, and I probably looked exactly like Lang did the first time he saw Linda. And I just went, oh, wow. And some things never change.
Oh, sweet.
Some things never change. So glad you're here tonight.
This really is a bucket list.
Oh.
So many of our friends in Nashville come and play at this venue, and they have the best things to say, and we have actually all watched some of your podcast and enjoyed your shows, and
thank you.
So now we get to be
you're
be
here.
with you.
Now you're here, and we're so glad you're here. Okay, I'm going to ask all kinds of questions tonight and take us down all kinds of bunny trails, but you guys have a show that you go out on the road and do, so I want you guys to start the show however you want to start it.
We're going to start it just like this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show.
Just kick back, sit down, relax. But go now if you've got to go.
We brought a piece of Music City right here to your hometown.
3 squares in a semicircle,
Where your
evening in the round.
You won't see no big production.
No smoke or laser lights.
We'll sing a song about liposuction, but we hope we don't suck tonight.
And you'll ponder, does he love you?
But you better not, 'cause she's my wife.
So turn your cell phones down, no tweeting now. We're your evening in the round.
You'll hear piano tickling.
And I'm a picking.
And I'll try to make you laugh.
I'm a rose between 2 thorns.
Like she needed to tell you that.
You'll hear a song about a Speedo.
Mama and the flag.
And we hope you'll buy our CDs that we brought in a Walmart bag. We're no Lady Antebellum,
But they're just like family.
What about me? So turn the lights up now and enjoy the sound of your evening in the round. Yeah, now.
Okay, I want to point out something to the audience and to you guys. This, best I can tell, this old Philco radio is about a 1954, okay? and it was my wife's uncle's. And after he passed, they didn't know what they were going to do with it. So I didn't know what I was going to do with it either, but something like that needed a home. So it has sat up here every show that we've done since the very first show. And I think we finally just found the theme song that needs to play through this old radio. That's perfect. That's awesome. Okay, so Lang, I'm going to direct this question at you. Tell us, okay, this evening in the round, you guys go around and you tour all over with this show. Tell us a little bit quickly about how this thing got put together. Like, what was the brainchild of this?
Well, you know, this is a format that's very familiar to here too. Now, I'm sure with songwriters in Nashville, you've heard of the Bluebird Cafe and the television show Nashville that you've seen. And so we still haven't figured, only, you know, rednecks in Nashville, Tennessee could come up with being across a straight line in a stage and call it, you know, in the round. But we still haven't figured that part out. But what we did when we would book ourselves out, you know, try to have an evening with Linda Davis and you know, being an intimate acoustic show. And so what we decided to do was we just, I think we were down at Gulf Shores and we wrote this to just kind of explain, you know, what it is that we do when we go out. It's an intimate night. We try to connect with the audience and said, well, let's just write a song to explain what it is.
Yeah.
So that's what we tried to do.
Well, it's perfect for our show. I'm so glad that you guys are here doing it. Now, I'm going to kick it down to Bill down there because we haven't really heard from him yet this evening.
We're spending all our kids' money. They're not laughing, but we think it's funny. Retired, bought a Winnebago, retired. Going where we want to go, retire to where it's never 10 below. It's a discount world for me since I joined AARP, retire. Walking at the mall, all my friends are dead or going bald. And me, my doctor, he's always on call. Well, I was a corporate leader, now I'm a Walmart greeter, rehired. I saw a gorgeous widow cougar riding on a Vespa scooter with a guy no more than 35. I said, are you worried about the difference in your ages? She said, listen, honey, if he dies, he dies. And that should not be so funny, but it is now. Retired. My working days are in the past. Retired. And I can finally speak my mind at last. Retired. I'm driving slow and saving gas on permanent vacation. Golf is my new vocation. I'm retired. For? Well, I can't find my reading glasses. My pants need more elastic. And I can't hear. You know, I put those kids through college. If they've got so much knowledge, then why do they keep asking me for dough? The answer's no. Retired. I was a captain in the Navy, and I flew jets. And I drove the women crazy. Romance, no, I haven't gotten lazy. I'm still at attention, no Cialis intervention required. I'd leave a tip, but did I mention that I'm living on a pension and I'm retired? Yes, I'm retired. There's our little Ray Stevens song. Thank you.
It's Mr. Bill Whyte right there. Wow.
Yeah, what do you say to that?
Some songs you got to live them to write them, right?
You write what you know.
That's what I say to that one. All right, man. So, okay, Lang, tell me, obviously, one of the things that I know just from being on the outside and just for all the listeners to know and people that are watching, I mean, I just met these folks tonight, right? For like meeting them. But having hung around Nashville and been somewhat of a student of songwriting and especially 90s music and coming out of Nashville, Tennessee and going back and forth, man, you guys are as plugged into that community as anybody I know. Tell me a little bit, Lang, about what brought you there. You're from Carolina, South Carolina,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from South Carolina and grew up. I had two loves, baseball and music. And I figured out, around 15, 16 years old that the girls really like the guitar better than playing baseball. So it's like I went ahead and went with that, but.
Well, if you were any good at baseball, they'd love you.
Well, yeah, maybe. It's going to be one of those. Okay. But so I grew up loving Larry Gatlin, all of his music, his early music, and just, found a way that when I was in college at the University of South Carolina, I entered a statewide contest, and one of the judges happened to be the producer of the group Alabama, and he had a partner in a studio with him in the Music Mill recording studio by the name of Pete Ray. And Pete took me up under his wing and took me to Nashville, did my first recording session in December of 1981. And to Mama and Daddy's delight, I went back home after that, and I told him, I said, hey, dropping out of college, third year in, I'm going to move to Nashville. So they were ready to get rid of me, and they said, go ahead. No, but I went and had $235 in a checking account and a Ford Courier pickup and a PV sound system, and so off I went. And I landed a job singing at a downtown Sheraton, and played there for off and on for a couple of years. And then the other part that happened during that time, Linda moved there from Texas, and so here you have Carolina to Texas. I looked nothing like you coming from South Carolina. I had on like tennis shoes with no socks.
Oh yeah.
And just
A gold nugget.
All right.
yeah, everybody can't have one of those.
No.
None of my Texas people have gold nuggets.
That might have been refreshing for a girl from Carthage, Texas, right?
So, the way that I remember it is she started clinging to me, and I've just had to be her arm candy ever since. So
that was it.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, Lang. Whatever helps you.
I keep telling myself that, but one of the great things that happened, during that time was something about contests. But I entered a contest on the Nashville network that was called the You Can Be a Star contest.
Yeah.
And y'all remember the Nashville network?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When it first launched, you had to have a big old 10-foot satellite dish to get it. And, and now people use them as a bird bath and everything else. But so in 1983, I entered that contest, and I have the distinction of being the first national champion of the You Can Be a Star contest on the Nashville network.
That's awesome.
So, Kyle, this was the same time that NBC launched Star Search with Ed McMahon.
Yep.
Are you too young to remember that?
No,
So
I
you
absolutely remember.
So Ed McMahon, NBC. Does anybody remember who won the first Star Search on NBC?
Was that Sawyer Brown? Yeah.
He's a winner. Yes, sir. Yeah. That's right. Sawyer Brown. And they won $100,000 on NBC on Ed McMahon's Star Search. Lang Scott from Hurleyville, South Carolina on the Nashville network with Jim Ed Brown. Y'all want to take a guess at what I won? A case of Martha White flour.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Self-rising.
Yes.
Yeah, self-rising. And just so y'all know, Steve, just so you know, it's still in the pantry because this lady does not cook or bake or anything.
No. Oh, boy.
1983 Martha White flour in the pantry. But so I mean, if you want me to lead into a song,
I want you to play
this
something for us.
So Bill did a song that recorded by Ray Stevens. Ray Stevens had a hit with this song in the 70s, and he won a Grammy for it. And this is also the song that catapulted me into fame for about 15 minutes on the Nashville network back in what year was it? 83. Yeah. Hope you like it. Look at me. Well, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. You know I'm walking on a cloud I can't understand. Well, I'm too misty, just holding your hand. You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. On my own, should I wander through this wonderland alone now? Never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove, Lord. I'm misty, too much in love.
Now watch this, folks. At no point will his fingers leave his hands. Watch this.
You can say that you're leading me on, but it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. On my own, should I wander through this wonderland alone now? Never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove, Lord. I'm misty, too much in love. Too much in love. Too much in love. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Wow.
I
So
will say
he-
sometimes we'll be going down the road and Linda, if she's sitting in the front seat, I'll just lean forward and whisper, "Gold Nugget," and she'll just shudder. It's just the weirdest. It's the weirdest.
It still works.
Still working.
Oh man! Actually, I was sitting here thinking, there's some things that can make a gold nugget more palatable, and that voice right there, just oh man, come on, come on.
And he's being a little modest when he won that contest. Besides getting all that flour, he was invited to be on the Grand Ole Opry several times. He went on tour with Jim Ed and Bill Anderson. He had a record deal. I mean, he had a lot of good stuff to go on. So,
Well, that's
and
not
he-
as good of a story.
well,
That's good.
they noticed. They noticed. They didn't maybe see that nugget like I did, but they knew.
Yeah, they're all
I'm
going.
gonna stop. I'm gonna
Where do you
stop.
get a nugget? Well, there's ads that run in the back of the paper.
So, okay.
Check Craigslist.
Kyle, so I have some friends here from my high school that are here at the show tonight, and Tal, I don't remember any of the guys wearing nuggets. Do you? No.
I think in Carthage, Texas, you'd get your, you know what,
Yeah.
if you wore a nugget. Nobody there was.
They just
Man
didn't know
enough to
what
do it.
they were missing.
Hey,
That's exactly
you remember, Linda, we were up there talking a while ago, the first duet that she had, like when she first, you remember the name of that duo?
Yes, I do.
What
it was
was
Skip and
Linda.
Skip and Linda.
So to show you what kind of self-esteem that I had to have to even coming down to Texas, and Skip had like a Bozo the Clown hairdo.
And he was
that
at
time.
least 15 years
Yeah,
older.
15 years old.
Than us.
I got called Skip by her family for like
Forever.
2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a beer. Well,
It was more than two.
well, y'all's mama referred to me as a pronoun
It's
for like
him.
10 years.
Well,
Man, we sit down. Linda, you want another biscuit? Oh, no, ma'am, I'm okay. What about him?
well, okay. And here's why. First of all, she had to make sure that the people who mistaked you for Skip, that she wasn't mistaken, that your name was not Skip, but your name is Lang with a G, and she knows that, but yet
Which is real close to Skip.
It's hard to remember. It's not Lane.
Wow.
Yep.
And then, of course, our last name is Scott, so that sounds like a first name. There was just a lot of things my mama had to make sure she was right. So him worked every time, every time.
Okay. So, Linda.
Have you lost control?
No, this is great. I've got some history at herding cats, so this is good. So, Linda, so you see the Nugget and you look past it anyway.
See the Nugget, be the Nugget.
Yeah. So now let's go back to Skip and Linda. I mean,
Okay.
you get to Nashville from Carthage, Texas. You get there. You got a record deal. Skip and Linda got a record deal pretty quick, right?
On an independent label.
Yep.
We did, and we were traipsed around town, and we got to be on all kinds of different showcases and shows, and it felt. And the record got played on some radio stations without having to actually pay them, Bill.
Well, that's a miracle.
That was good.
That's a miracle.
And it was a great tipping my toe into the waters of Nashville. It wasn't meant to be that duo. So, everybody goes on and does the next thing till the doors open. And then I started working because that didn't make me any money, So I started having to make some money, and I went to work at a piano bar.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. My sister taught me to play piano when I was little.
Okay.
Santa Claus brought us one when we were kids, and so she'd play by ear little gospel songs, and then when she'd get up, I'd sit down and I'd pick out the notes and I'd play them. So we learned by ear.
Yeah.
So that all kind of paid off when I got to Nashville because I needed to make money, and I wasn't good at waitressing. I did that for 2 weeks, and I got invited to leave because I didn't get any of the orders right. So I thought I better go sing somewhere. So I had my little piano chops, and I got me some lyrics so I could sing all night. And
So
that's
were you
what
just
I did.
singing all the gospel tunes you knew in the piano bar, or what were we doing?
Yeah, well, I'd slip one in every now and
once
then.
in a while?
Sometimes there was nobody in the audience, so I could do what I wanted to.
Yeah, gotcha.
But the night, oh my goodness. Okay, so at this time, one of the piano bars I played at was when I became pregnant with Hillary. So, so often I'd have to scoot the bench back, and here we go. So I had a tip jar. And I was working at a nice one this time. It was the Sheridan Music City, and it was nice. I mean, people would come in. They'd tip me to sing songs.
Yeah.
And we'd save that money. How many pamper boxes did we buy, Lang? Those tips
What?
gave...
Pamper boxes.
Pampers.
Yeah, okay.
Diapers.
Pepper box, is that it?
What did you think I said?
Pepper box.
No.
To go with
Diapers.
the flour.
So those jobs, you just work your way.
Yeah.
But my sight was set on the Grand Ole Opry. That's what got me. That's why I wanted to move to Nashville.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you go from Skip and Linda, you embark on a solo career,
Yep.
and you end up getting signed to a deal, and you
Yep.
start to put out records. Pick one of your early songs that's still in the set list today.
Oh,
I mean, just one of them from back in that
goodness.
time.
Oh my God! You know what? That's been a little bit.
Do that one I love. I miss you, baby, but my aim's getting better. That's one of my favorites that you used to do a lot, and
Yeah, just do a little bit
I
of
don't
that.
hear it as much lately. And
Okay, Bill. I think you were probably in Milwaukee. So Bill was on radio, DJ. I went around trying to get people to play my records. I think you played this one a few times.
all right.
See if we can remember. Bobby Tomerlin wrote this. You say love's left you high and dry, except for those looking in your eyes. Said you never want to try again. Oh, but love didn't do it. She did. Oh, love didn't slam that door, and it didn't make you walk the floor. Love didn't break no promises. Love didn't do it. She did. That's one of them.
We haven't heard that in a long while. That's great.
It's been a while.
That's great.
I guess I did a bunch of those cheating songs, I guess. I didn't think about it, but never did stop to think about that.
It's because you had a husband that wore a Nugget, so you were constantly worried. No. Lang is like, this guy won't shut up, and I just met him.
Hey, I'm non-offendable. Ever since I turned 50 years old, I'm non-offendable, and you just have to have a hefty self-esteem, because, she was at the Ryman doing Opry one night, and she, Opry Country Classics, and she decided to do this Loretta Lynn song. I think y'all might have been there, actually, Burnell. And she was up there, and she's talking about this next song. When I was a little girl, I didn't really know what it meant when I heard it, but I do now. And it was Loretta Lynn's When the Tingle Becomes a Chill. And so she basically dedicated that song to me right there in front of,
Okay, there's more to that story, Kyle. I didn't really think, I did not think about that meant anything that you were offended by. But when we got home, let me tell you what was so funny. When he kind of brought it to my attention later on, I didn't realize, but when I got home, I put my jammers on, and I put on my snowman flannel jammers.
Yeah, the Don't Touch Me pajamas.
I didn't realize all that piled up, and it was kind of bothering him.
Wow.
Deflated my nugget.
Wow.
Bill, save us. Save us from this, Bill.
You're asking Bill Whyte to save us?
Yeah, save us, Bill.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out why I worked up songs for tonight. One of the things that I've had happen in my life was for about 30 years I wrote parody songs for United Stations in New York City. Dick Clark used to own it one time, and that was kind of talk about one thing leading to another. And I was actually on the air in Milwaukee, and I had hired them for my radio show they could provide comedy on demand. If I needed a parody song, if I needed somebody was in the news and I needed whoever to call, they could do a sound-alike voice, and I would write all these scripts. I'd write all the stuff, and they'd produce it, and it would come in a digital box. And so the senior writer called me one day and said, "Hey, we really like your writing. If you ever want to write, nationally, think about a national focus and not just a Milwaukee local angle, we pay for those things." And so I started sending them one or two, and it turned into a thing where they'd take about 5 or 6 a week, and a lot of them were parody songs. And the parody songs were always born out of something that was hot in the news, and whatever was in the news. And so I would write a verse and a chorus lyrically, send it to New York. They'd send it to Nashville, and the band would produce it. And the next morning, any radio station that subscribed to that service, it would be in their box. And if they're talking about whatever's in the news, here's a funny song to go with it. So I probably wrote 2,000 or 3,000 of those things over the year. And I think my favorite might have been when they sent me a note one day and said, "Bill, we need a song about Bruce Jenner deciding not to be Bruce Jenner anymore." And so I wrote a verse and a chorus of Shania's big hit, "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." And that's still...
Legendary.
Oh, you've grown, but you'll go home and tell it. I know. So I'm always, because I have a comedic mind, I always see the funny in the world no matter what. And I'm still looking at those topical things. And if you haven't noticed lately, we drove a big vehicle all the way from Nashville, and the price of gas has shot up, folks, again. Well, I think I finally figured out why gas is so high. It's purely geographical if you'll open your eyes. 'Cause there's oil down in Texas, lots of Oklahoma drills, but all the dipsticks are on Capitol Hill. So here's to the dipsticks in Washington, D.C. with their master's degree in proctology. They're sticking it to you, and they're sticking it to me. So here's to the dipsticks in Washington, D.C. Can I get an amen? getting screwed at the pump for the price of gasoline. They should at least pass out blindfolds and free Vaseline. How can we take Baghdad, give Saddam the old boot, then watch the price of gas go through the roof? Hell if I know. So here's to the dipsticks in Washington, D.C. with their master's degree in proctology. They're sticking it to you, and they're sticking it to me. Here's to the dipsticks in Washington, D.C. When it comes time to vote your constituency, we'll stick it to those dipsticks in Washington, D.C. There you go, America. Glad to save you over there, Kyle.
You know, the only thing that's sad about that song is that it's not comedy these days.
Yeah, it hurts for real, don't it? Yeah.
Man. Okay. How are you going to follow that?
Oh, we've got plenty.
Oh, well, let's.
How long you got?
Man, I think is everybody doing okay out there? Are y'all all doing okay, having a good time? Okay, this would probably be a perfect time to do this because we have to do this and sometimes I forget. But this is where I need you guys to be an active participant, okay? Because we need a liner to start the
These
the
people
podcast.
don't look very active, Kyle. I'll tell you right now.
No, watch them. Have you ever seen like the sand volleyball courts at those 55 and up lifestyle type deals? These people know what they're doing.
I always say the older I get, the older the audience is getting. I really don't mind that. I always say if I had to equate it, looking at it, the audience is a lot these days when we're out on the road. If it were a movie, it would be like 50 Shades of Grey. It's kind of like and I don't mind that, to tell you the truth, because I are one. So
I caught it off.
I got it. Okay, so liner, all right? And since you're in radio, Bill, why don't you start? What we need is this. This is Bill Whyte, Linda Davis, and Lang Scott, and this is real life, real music.
Oh, wow. That's why we brought him down here.
All right? This is real life, real music. It's
This
not
is-
real
this is
life
real
and
life.
real. It's
this
real
is
life.
real life,
Real
music. This is real life, real music. Since we're rehearsing it, it really sounds real. This is real life, real music. Okay, are you ready?
Are
Here
we
go.
all going to say real life, real music, or just Bill?
Just the radio guy.
So we just sat here while he says it?
Maybe y'all say your names,
This
right?
is complicated.
Can I say my
let's
name?
No.
Okay,
no.
you want to do the
really
whole
He
says
thing?
didn't drive 1 mile down there. Make him do it all.
Okay, you do the whole
No,
thing.
I'm not doing it all. We'll go down the line here, just like here. Just do this. Hi, this is Bill Whyte,
And I'm Linda Davis.
And I'm Lang Scott.
and this is real life, real music. That is so real. That is just so real now.
Perfect.
Is that it?
That was it. That
Oh,
was the
we
liner.
got it the
I
first
think we got
time.
it. First
So real.
take.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Y'all
Okay.
don't give yourselves enough credit. All right. Play us something. Y'all take us wherever you want to go here.
Oh, come on now.
I run from hate. I run from prejudice. I run from pessimists, but I run too late.
I run my life, or is it running me? Run from my past. I run too fast, or too slow it seems. When lies become the truth, that's when I run to you. This world keeps spinning faster to a new disaster.
disasters. So I run to you, I run to you, baby. When it all starts coming undone, baby, you're the only one I run to. I run to you.
This is our favorite song of our daughter, Lady A.
We run on fumes, your life and mine, like the sands of time, slipping right on through. And our love's the only truth, and that's why I run to you. This world keeps spinning faster to a new disaster. So I run to you, I run to you, baby. When it all starts coming undone, baby, you're the only one I run to. I run to you. Whoa, whoa,
Oh, I run to you.
this world keeps spinning faster to a new disaster. So I run to you, I run to you, baby. When it all starts coming undone, baby, you're the only one I run to. I run to you, I run to you, yeah. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, I run to you.
I run to you, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, now.
Dave Haywood to my right.
Yeah.
Good job, Bill.
Thank you.
So, Linda and Lang, give us an update on the family. I mean, since you just played that song,
Oh.
tell us what's going on.
Okay.
In the clan.
All right. So Riley Jean, our baby, is 21 now. She is officially an adult, and many of you in the audience have watched her grow up, and many of you have watched Hillary grow up. And she is married to a wonderful man, Chris, and they have us 3 grandbabies. And Isley is 8, and Emery and Betsy are identical twin little girls, and they are 3.5, will be 4 in January, and they are the light of my life. And of G-Paws, too. I'm Lolly. They call me Lolly.
And I'm G-Paw.
G-Paw. And we are just in the best club in the whole wide world. Who else is in the grandparent club? Yes. It is... it's a sweet, sweet time. Thank you for asking. I have pictures after the show and video if you want to see.
All right. No,
I got grandcats. That's what I got. So
Bill has a beautiful wife, Kathy, and their daughter, Heather. She's married to Casey, who is in our military, in the Army.
the Army, yeah.
And so Bill's very proud of his family, too.
Yep. I'd like to have grandkids, though, so if you two would send diagrams or something, and I would... something.
It'll happen.
So, Bill,
Yep.
I think you're up. What do you want to
Is
play
it
for
me?
us?
Well, why don't I do this little... why don't I do this little radio song? It's really interesting. I'll tie this all together. It's... My first little radio job was in a 1-bedroom trailer in a cow pasture in Missouri. I'm not making it up. I was 18 years old and they just hired me. They just needed warm bodies. And the call letters were KPCR, which affectionately stood for Cow Pasture Country Radio. And then when the owner got a little money, he built a barn, and we went into a barn and broadcast. Here we go. I rest my case. And then got lucky and wound up at morning radio and did a lot of years in Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, and WSM. I got to work there some, which was a dream come true for a kid that used to turn on 650 AM WSM coming out of bars after playing music. And I got the biggest blessing of my life in a songwriting session. Actually, one day I was writing with a new young artist, and my old boss sent me an email. He was in Indianapolis. Charlie Morgan was his name, and he said, "Bill, I've lost your phone number, and I need to reach you." And so I knew that Charlie had just been named the president of Emmis Broadcasting in Indianapolis, and I was trying to be a songwriter at that time, a starving songwriter, and was pretty happy about it. And I was convinced he was going to offer me a job. So when the phone rang, and it was him, I answered like a smart aleck, and I said, "Charlie," I said, "you are not going to try to make me go back to work in radio again, are you?" And he said, "No, Bill." He said, "It's better than that. And I wanted to be the one to tell you that they're going to put you into the Country Radio Broadcast Hall of Fame this year." Wow. So that was 2012, and you could have knocked me over with a feather. And you know, they have a great, wonderful ceremony, and a lot of artists comes, and each person that's inducted gets to choose who presents them into the Hall of Fame. And I chose these two, and they were wonderful. And to go back to the Lady A story, in their introduction, in the nice words that they said, they mentioned that we were in a group, and we had posed for this picture where they put hair on me, you know, standing on a box to look like Charles, and it was the cover of Need Me Now, the Lady Antebellum album, and the album said Lady Granny Bellum, and the album was Peed Me Now, and there I am up in front of all my peers on that big screen. So the great thing was that one of my brothers made it. They're all over the country. Two of my sisters, and my dad, who was at that time blind from diabetes. He's no longer with us now, but he got to sit right about where my friend Jenny is sitting, right about this close to the stage. So it's a pretty cool thing to be able to say thank you, Daddy, you know, with that kind of platform. And I always say we live in the greatest country in the world, despite what you read in the news sometime. And I believe that if you work hard enough in this country and you have a little talent and you don't give up on it, that sooner or later they will run out of people to put into a damn Hall of Fame. Now, that's just it. So I had a writing appointment one day with myself, and neither one of us had a thing to write about that day, Kyle. So they always say when you don't have anything to write about something you know. So I thought, well, okay, never done that before. And every word in this song is pretty much true. Well, I played Hank and I played Cash. I drug a needle through the Eagles in a stack of wax. And I'm the butt end of that tired old joke. I got a face for radio. Obituaries and birthdays, well, I've read them both. They cut both ways. And I pimped used cars at sales remotes. Yeah, I got a face for radio, just a voice that some folks like, hiding behind an on-air light. Now they put my mug on billboard signs. Imagine that. Listen weekday mornings 5 to 9. But when I wouldn't play their damn 10 in a row, they fired my face from the radio. And I made you cry, I made you laugh, I've helped you kill time in a traffic jam. Now when the towers fell and then the Pentagon, well, I held your hands on 911. It's election time, get out and vote. PSA face on the radio, just a voice. And some folks are lying, hiding behind a blinking on a light. Yeah, they hung my plaque in a hall of fame next to other faces you can't name. But when they look at mine, they'll say, you know, he's got a face for radio. And if someday it's heaven for me, I hope I'll have a face for WGOD radio.
That's Bill Whyte.
Thank you.
How about that?
That's our lifelong friend, Bill Whyte, right
Yes.
there.
And just so you know, when y'all watching this wants to Google Bill Whyte, it's WHYTE.
Yeah.
Why? Because I love you.
Bill, that's a great song. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
sharing that with us tonight.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, the hardest part of this to me, Kyle, is being interviewed.
I bet. It's a hard sitting in the other seat, isn't it?
Gee, I'd like to flip the switch. You know?
Okay, so I want to ask this. We talked about your kids. We talked about your early career, Linda. You know, your career has taken a lot of twists and turns, and you've been just right there in the middle of what's been going on in Nashville and then out touring and doing your thing. Like, I mean, since you were how old when you moved to
19.
Nashville? Yeah, okay. So you have, you have seen stages and places in this world that I can't even fathom that you would have thought of as a youngster there in Carthage, Texas. Tell us a little bit just about where the journey's taken you. And I mean, you've been part of some of the biggest tours I'm going to imagine in the world. I mean, because when you talk about 24, semis and 12 buses and running up and down the road, and you've been with the biggest names on the biggest stages. Tell us
Kenny Rogers
about
in
that.
Australia now, for
Yep.
crying out loud.
It has been the most charmed and so blessed my life. Because like I mentioned earlier, my sight was set on the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
That is still the most precious thing that I get to do. And because that's what I went there for. But the blessings that God poured on me and Lang, because we were both on tour with Reba all those years going all around the world. I mean, we have just seen things. I've gotten to do things that I, as a kid in East Texas, I never even knew to dream about stuff. And I'm just here to tell you, if there's anybody watching or hearing my voice, if I can have a dream and work hard for it and some luck fall in, place, and just treat people like how you want to get treated, I mean, that's pretty important.
Yeah.
And things can happen. If they happen for me, they can happen for anybody. So I just encourage, especially the young ones, and I have a real soft spot for the up-and-coming talent, and because I was that up-and-coming talent.
Yeah.
And I had wonderful people and influences to mentor me and to show me how to act at a show, backstage and on stage. And then all that just kind of paid off. And working with Kenny Rogers on his farewell tour, oh my goodness. And I've loved Kenny for all of my life. We've all heard his songs and admired him, but to get to tour with him, especially during those sweet last years, was so special. There's not really words to describe it. touring with Reba, she is such the work ethic that woman has, and how hard she goes at it, and how well she takes care of her people. It's, you step back and you can learn a lot from these pros if you pay attention. You were talking about paying attention to people who mentored you, Bill.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What'd you say? I wasn't paying attention.
It's just it's endless, and one of the other blessings that I'll talk about that has been so fun in the last 15 years of my career. There's television shows produced by a man named Larry Black, and he's produced shows that go on RFD TV. Do you have that in your cable at home? Some of you do. So there are some shows that Larry's Country Diner and Country's Family Reunion. There's one that is with gospel music, and what the idea of that show is, you sit in a big circle in a room with icons, stars of the Grand Ole Opry, people who are my heroes. Oh my goodness, we've lost a bunch of them, but I mean, Gene Watson. Yeah. Oh, we love Gene. Rhonda Vincent. And then there's so many, Mo Bandy, I mean, Bill Anderson, all of the. So to sit in the room with those people that I admired my whole life, and to be they're my friends. Yeah. I mean, it just has, I don't know. I just thank God all the time for allowing me to get to do this. And then I would have never met my husband had I not went up there to get on the Grand Ole Opry, because that's where we met. Mm. So it all just...
Well, you take the good with the bad then, right? So,
jeez. Hey, you made Paul and Ray and Ryan set this piano up for you. Are you going to play it, or are you just going to sit there?
Play us something.
Do you care?
Oh, do I? I'll care if you don't.
Well, why don't I start at the beginning?
I'm tired of propping you up. Why don't you do something?
Well, you know, how it began before my Nashville journey was back in Dotson, Texas. That's my where I was raised, went to high school in Carthage. My big sister, she's 9 years older than me. She taught me how to play piano and to sing songs. Our brother's in between. He doesn't sing, but he's got good taste in music. He's taught me a lot, but he doesn't sing. But we went to church every time the doors were open. Mom and Daddy took us. I was the baby. And first time I ever sang in front of people was at that little Missionary Baptist Church, Enterprise and Missionary Baptist Church in Gary, Texas. And I was so small, Daddy held me up in the pulpit so folks could see me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Yeah. That's how it started. Now, okay, just so y'all know, they did not clap at Enterprise, did they, Amy? Not that they didn't want to, probably. Just a conservative church. And there's a lot more people in this room tonight than usually at those services. And a lot of them were kin folks, just like my cousin Amy. But what a wonderful place to just kind of, be supported and encouraged. And of course, at the house, we had gospel music. And then Vernell brought in some James Taylor, but we watched the Grand Ole Opry every Saturday night. So that country music was, it was all in me. So one after that day, Leo Porter, our song leader, he thought I did a fine job. So he said, okay, I want you to learn some more songs, Linda Kay, and come one Sunday, I'll get you back up. So sure enough, I practiced with my hairbrush at the house. I always, it was just important to be ready and prepared.
Bill, did you ever practice with a hairbrush?
Oh, I used to, Lang, but it's kind of a moot point these days. And so. But I like the thought of it a whole lot.
So I had a song or two in my back pocket. And so one day we all piled out of the car And Leo met me on the front steps. He said, well, today, I want you to sing one of those songs if you're ready. I said, I'm ready. He said, after the offering, before the preacher, you go sing a special. And so I thought, okay, I can't wait. So came time, passed the offering plate, then he called me up. Well, you come to tell me something.
Wait a minute.
That you say I ought to know. That he don't love me anymore and I'll have to let him go. You say you're gonna take him, but I don't think you can. 'Cause you ain't woman enough to take my man.
Wow. What page of the Broadman hymnal was that bad boy on? Wow.
That was from the hymn book of Loretta.
Okay.
The next Sunday was probably high attendance Sunday for that church.
Yes, indeed.
Sounds like.
But
Yes,
but you know what? They preached. The preacher preached on adultery
Of course
that
he
day.
did. Yeah, of course he did.
Because
Tied
he
in.
got a message from the Lord right there
Tied
during your
in.
song.
Wow. Wow.
Well, that's how it started, and it never got out of my system. And I sing a whole lot of songs, and I don't write as many as I wish I did. Bill Whyte writes all the time.
Oh, well, she's a good writer.
All the
Don't let her
time.
fool you.
But this is one that I did write. A couple friends came over, and I had heard on the radio there was a telethon going on and for the mission, homeless mission down in Nashville. So on this talk radio show, there was interviewing some of the people who had been there and who the mission had helped, and they'd done, they'd gotten out and back on their feet. So this interview was going on, and I heard this guy say, yeah, I was in a bad shape. I was in a bad way. I lost everything, my family. I lied, and I was just not taking care of myself. And it was bad. It was bad. He said, but then I just got tired of running. So when he said that, and I knew I had writers coming that day, it just stuck in my head and in my heart. And when the songwriters got there, I said, y'all had anything you want to write? And they said, not so much, but what about you? I said, let me tell you what I heard. I told them that story. And this is a song that we wrote that morning. I'm guilty of leaving when love gets close to me. I'm weary of wearing excuses on my sleeve. I've become a prisoner to my self-righteous pride. Chasing empty promises has led me here tonight. I'm tired of running. The path of least resistance always call my name. Just the mention of commitment, and I was on my way. I'm good at crossing bridges and burning each one down. I'm worn out from looking for a place to turn around. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of running. I'm searching for a place to surrender. Tired of running. Tired of running. I can't go another lonely mile. I'm tired of running. I'm standing here before you, getting honest with myself. I've justified my choices by blaming someone else. So I'm here to say I'm sorry, seek forgiveness that I need. I can't wait till Sunday. I'm down here on my knees. I'm tired running circles and getting nowhere. Can't go another lonely mile. I'm tired of running. I can't go another lonely mile. I'm so tired of running.
Linda Davis, y'all.
That is beautiful. What a beautiful.
Thank you.
What a beautiful song. Are y'all having a good time tonight? Is everybody doing good? Okay. I told you that I was going to have one of my Porter Wagner moments, so I'm going to do that right now, minus the sequins and, jumpsuit and whatever else. But, we could not make this show happen. Could not have made it happen over the years without the help of our corporate supporters. And many of you listening on the radio or watching the podcast are from out of town. And guess where a lot of people are moving these days?
Where they're moving?
They're moving to Texas, right? They're moving to Texas. And guess what? If you're looking at the Houston area, the Woodlands area, Magnolia, College State, I have the perfect people that you need to meet. They're sitting right in Do-Si-Do tonight. In Google World, you can just Google the Griffin Realty Group because they are the experts right in this area of Texas. So if you're in San Luis Obispo right now, California, and you're one of the Californians wanting to come to Texas, you need to check out the Griffin Realty Group. Not only do they sell houses in the area, but the better looking of the pair, which is the wife, Christy, she sings just like Janis Joplin. I mean, you could close your eyes, and she is a deadpan for Janis Joplin. So great music fans, and I always say, do business with people in your community that put money back into things you love in your community. And the Griffin Realty Group does that. Guys, thank you for everything you do to make nights like this possible. Thank you so much. And the supporter of our podcast, the current underwriter of our radio program and a sponsor of our shows tonight, Chicago Title Houston. I think we've got a couple of representatives here from Chicago Title Houston with us. And I'll tell you this, I closed on a house, a refinance with them not too long ago, and they were the fastest people at flipping through all the pages that I had to sign to get me in and out of there really fast. And so
they just didn't want you to read all of it.
Gail, he said that. I didn't. Thank you guys for everything you do to make this show possible. Chicago Title Houston and Griffin Realty Group. Okay, so I want to stay on this on the topic of gospel music, because obviously I haven't known you guys. I know your music, but I haven't known you for more than the phone call we had in the car yesterday when you guys were driving down here, and the opportunity that we've had to spend today. And I can already tell, just in the way that you carry yourself and in the music that you make, that the spiritual side of who you are is important to you. Tell us a little bit about how that plays into your music. And obviously, my gosh, you won a Grammy Award for that back in 2017. I mean, so we all see it. The world sees it. The world needs more of it. Thank you for that. But tell us a little bit about it and maybe play us another one.
Wow. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed that I love Jesus. I do. And I'm so thankful for the foundation my parents gave us kids. Lang had the same, Bill had the same, and many of you. And we're hopefully raising our kids with that. Because, in good times, when you're on that mountain, it's easy to thank the Lord for that. But when the times get rough and we're in the valley, we're supposed to thank Him then too. And we have to find something to get us through those valleys. And music for our family, certainly the gospel music, but any of the inspirational music and just the sound of good music. I mean, that is of Jesus. I mean, I can't wait to hear that choir and that band up in heaven. I mean, it's gonna be something. But yes, our faith definitely is what makes us have peace. It gives us hope. And if you don't have it, talk to us after the show, because we'll tell you about Jesus and help you find that hope. Because right now, not that you haven't always needed hope, but there's a lot of things that's hard to wrap our brains around in this life, and hope in eternity can help keep you grounded. And
we have all experienced things in our lives to where, God has shown up and made himself manifest to us at the time. I hope that you've witnessed that. I have. We did with my dad's battle with leukemia, which was the impetus for us to do this album, Love Remains, that you were speaking of, that we watched my dad go through a 6-month battle with leukemia. We set up a Caring Bridge site, which is a social media thing for medical cases, and we did that so that his friends and family back in South Carolina, my mom and dad were living in Nashville with us, not with us, but up there. And so we did it so that they could communicate and we could keep them updated on his progress and on his treatment. And so as a thank you, after my dad passed, and there's many stories that I could share about that too, right down to the point when, he just kept struggling that last day. It was hard to witness that. And we had a room full of our inner circle friends and witnesses. And when he took and I'd been documenting, I'd keep my mind busy, the whole time. And, right to when he took his last breath, I turned around to document the time, and it was exactly 3:16. And it was just like yet one other thing that God just said, hey, he's mine. I've got this. I've got him, and I've got this. And it, I was doing a Bible study. It was a couple of years after that. And I was reading along with it. There's a Matthew Henry commentary that went along with this chapter in Hebrews that I was reading. And he said that, and he was talking about Jacob talking to his sons when he brought them in to talk to him each when he was on his deathbed. And he said that, we as Christians, that God will give us living comforts in dying moments. And when he does that, it's our responsibility as Christians to go and tell others about that he is, like I said a while ago, he's got this, and it's our responsibility when we see things like that, when we see and sense the Holy Spirit come in, to go and tell others about that there is hope. There's hope in his son, Jesus Christ. And my dad knew that. I saw him from being an anxious man when he first got his diagnosis to being at absolute peace with his maker and with all of his relationships. And it is our privilege every time, and thank you for bringing that up, to share that with the audiences that we do. We're not preachers. We can't quote a lot of Bible verses to you, but one thing that we can say for sure that there are things that are bigger than just us individually that we can staple ourselves to, and we can count on what is truth. When in this day when it's hard to discern what the truth is, there is a book that you can open up and you can find your truth in there. We believe that with all our hearts. We would love to do this song for y'all right now. It's a title cut. As we did the song earlier, I Run to You. This song is actually written by the same man. His name's Tom Douglas, one of the great writers, song craftsmen. And he wrote The House That Built Me, and he's crazy talented. But this song is the title cut, and it's kind of takes you through the cycle of life and ends in a hopeful, that there is hope that we can cling to. So.
We are born one fine day, children of God, on our way. Mama smiles and Daddy cries, a miracle before their eyes. They protect us till we're of age, and through it all, love remains. The boy moves on and takes a bride, and she stands faithful by his side through tears and sweat, They build a home and raise a family of their own, and they share joy and they share pain. Through it all, love remains. Kingdoms come and go, but they don't last. Before you know, the future is the past. In spite of what's been lost or what's been gained, we are living proof that love remains.
Well, I don't know, baby, what I do on this earth without you. We all live and we all die, but the end is not goodbye. The sun comes up and the seasons change, and through it all, love remains. An eternal burning flame. Hope lives on and love remains.
That's amazing. Love that.
Is everybody out there doing okay? Okay, here's the thing. I'm running. We're running a few minutes over, but I imagine that's okay with everybody out there, right? We okay? Okay. All right.
We can go all night.
Yeah, we could. So, okay. Can I be selfish and ask to join your round? Can I join this round?
Come
Because that
on.
last song, I want to play you a song.
Plug that little thing in.
Plug that little thing in.
You're so technical, honey.
Did you actually say that? Plug
did,
that little
she did.
thing in. Man, the hardest part about being a comedian is trying to shut yourself up before you say the wrong thing.
Man, I love that song. I love the whole Love Remains record. You guys did such an amazing, beautiful job on that record.
One of the songs, Bill Whyte and some friends with Hillary at the end, called Safe Haven, that is on that record. Lang told you a little bit about his daddy, and that was a hard time, but Bill and Sidney Perry and Jimmy Fortunes wrote that song, and it is the most autobiographical song that there will ever be written. It fits my father-in-law to the T. If you have the record, listen to that particular one again, and just now that you
With
know a
the
little more
context,
history.
yeah.
But having Bill on that record just
A
makes
blessing.
it so sweet.
A real
You want to
blessing.
play that one, Bill?
I could,
But you do yours.
Okay, I'll play one that if you play that one, and
Okay.
then we probably have
Sure,
time for
we
a
can do
couple
that.
more after
All
that.
right.
Okay.
What's the story with this one?
I'm just going to play it
Okay.
because I tell lots of stories, but I'll just say this song is probably the most autobiographical song about me and my faith journey. bloodshot in the morning, last night on my tongue, wrestling with a demon that I just can't outrun. The sunlight begs the question, why can't I be a man and do the things I know to do, but just can't? But he can, yeah, he can. He can pull me through the darkness. If I reach out a hand, he can. Yeah, he can. Calm a raging sea with a peace I'll never understand. He can. Well, I've been trying to find a reason to cut myself some slack, but the mirror ain't your friend. You've gone this far down a track that leads you nowhere but some God-forsaken town, and you can't turn it around. But he can, yeah, he can. He can pull you through the darkness. You reach out a hand, he can. Yeah, he can. Calm a raging sea with a peace you'll never understand. He can. And on that day of judgment, when I finally meet the man, and I can't cover up the sin that's on my hands, but he can, yeah, he can. He can pull me through this darkness. If I reach out a hand, he can, yeah, he can. Calm a raging sea with a peace I'll never understand. He can, yeah, he can, yeah, he can.
Wow, thank you. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that with all of
Well,
us.
thank you for letting me.
Wow.
Never been that nervous singing that song, I don't think.
I love songwriters and the craft of songwriting. It's an interesting thing. I did a songwriter show not all that long ago in Gatlinburg with a good buddy, Brady Seals, and Brady was with Little Texas for a long time, and what was the name? Hot Apple Pie. But Brady is a writer on God Bless Texas, you know, so he's had some hits, and we've written a lot through the years. So we did a show together, and Brady did a drinking song, and we just got in this little role. Brady did a drinking song, and I said, well, I got a drinking song. Played a drinking song. So Brady sang a song about his mom, and I said, I got a mama song. I mean, you could just do that forever, because every songwriter, if you write long enough, you've got this whole catalog of things and that's exactly what happened with Kyle there. He's listening to that song and he's inspired to sing that song, which is in the same vein. I will say, though, I've done an awful lot of shows and I've never had anybody around say, you know, I got a Dipstick song too. That's never, so I think that one may be unique. I'm going to do you this Safe Haven song, but before I do that, I want to do for you the most played song that I've been a part of on the radio. And you write these songs, and that's the goal of a songwriter. You just hope, if you're lucky someday, that you write something that means something enough that somebody actually records it, and it goes from a piece of paper to your car radio where you're getting to hear that thing that you wrote. And I was in Nashville not all that long ago, and I had on the sports talk radio station, of all things, and a song came on that Steve Dean, who's a great songwriter, and I wrote, and I almost drove off the side of the road because it's such a thrill. You know, Linda's got to hear that a whole bunch of times, but it's such a thrill as a songwriter to hear that bad boy coming out at you, and this is the song here. Who do you call when you need a new floor? R&S Wood Flooring, or refinish the old one that you've got? R&S Wood Flooring. R&S Wood Flooring. Customer service and satisfaction. R&S Wood Flooring. R&S Wood Flooring. R&S wood flooring. They played the heck out of that thing. Some people laugh at that, but it went plywood. Now I'm telling you. So
The real estate folks might need a jingle.
anytime you need one, I got your
He's your
jingle.
man.
That's the name of my jingle company. I got your jingle. So here's the biggest blessing of my life, and this is how songwriting works too. It's, I get to teach songwriting classes with young people sometime, and I get a couple of questions pop up all the time, and one is, Mr. Whyte, how do I get my song on the radio? And I always say, well, do what I did. Get your own radio show and play your own damn songs. That's one way. But if you're a songwriter, getting your song to the people that really matter is the hardest thing in the world. I always tell people the easiest part of songwriting is writing the doggone song. The hardest part is getting it through the right channels just to get it heard even. And that happens after you develop relationships with people. If you get to know artists and you've got a great connection with them and you've got a personal relationship with them, the odds go up that they're going to listen to your song. And that's kind of what happened with the Safe Haven song. Lang was kind enough to send me a note that Hillary had written about her grandfather. She'd poured it out in a paragraph. And in the note, I remember it saying that she called her grandpa Paw, and that she considered him to be her safe haven to run to. And I caught the Paw part, and Jimmy Fortune, who was the tenor singer for the Statler Brothers, who was in the room that day, caught the safe haven part. And then, as Linda said, Hillary came back in as a fourth writer and added some other things about him that we didn't know to make it even more personal. Who all's on the album? Bruce Hornsby's on the album. Ricky Skaggs produced it. The Whytes are on it. Who am I missing? Stephen Curtis Chapman is. It's an amazing album. Love Remains, and it was nominated for the Grammys that year, and I'll never forget because my wife and I were in Miami, Florida. On her bucket list, she wanted to see Andrea Bocelli sing, and so, boy, those tickets were expensive. My God. And we drove all the way to Florida on Valentine's and heard Andrea Bocelli. But right before we walked out of the hotel room, the Grammys were on, the backstage Grammys, where they're giving the Christian Music Awards. And that album won 2 Grammy Awards that night. And I'm surprised you didn't hear us shrieking from Miami, So we wrote that song that day, and I sent it to Lang. We just recorded it on our phone. That's the way Lang heard it, and they loved it enough to put it on the album, and I'm sure glad they did, because at the time I thought, gosh, if they don't like it, there's not a soul ever going to record the song, because it is so personal about Lang's dad. And that has turned out to be the farthest thing from the truth. That song has resonated with people around the world, and we still get emails, and people have done videos about someone they loved, that they lost, that they somehow connected with this song. So this has been a real blessing for sure. My papa was a big old man. He held the world and me in the palm of his hand. Held us all together. The family cornerstone. His voice was deep just like his faith. And he always called me sugar babe. What I wouldn't give to hear I love you one more time. Well, he loved to read John 3:16, tap along to hymns we'd sing. He left us so much more than earthly things. Sometimes when there's no answer, no reason for the pain, and I just can't wrap my head around the why of things that come my way, I still believe you hold a place for us in heaven. So even when my faith on earth is shaking, You're my safe haven. You said my home's not here, no, I'm not bound. My hope is built on higher ground. And child, where I'm a-going, goodbye don't mean a thing. Yeah, there's gonna be some things I miss, but don't forget God promises we'll be together on the other side. Sometimes when there's no answer, no reason for pain, and I just can't wrap my head around the why of things that come my way. Well, I still believe you hold a place for us in heaven. So even when my faith on earth is shaken, you're my safe haven. Now it's comfort for my heart that breaks to know you're in a better place, and I know I'll see your loving face again. I still believe you hold a place for us in heaven. So even when my faith on earth is shaken, you're my safe haven. My safe haven. Yeah, my papa was a big old man. He held the world and me in the palm of his hand.
Have you guys had a good time tonight? I want to say thank you guys so much for, I mean, listen, planes, trains, and automobiles minus the plane, right?
Yep,
to get down
right.
here, to be with us tonight.
And
thank you so much.
Well, it's worth it. We told Steve earlier when we got a chance to meet him in person. I'd spoken to him on the phone several months ago that we originally set up and to play here. And this is truly, as Linda said earlier, this venue has been on our bucket list for a long time, and we are so again feel privileged and honored to have fulfilled that bucket
Yes,
list.
absolutely.
Checking another one off the list. So,
And you know what? I believe things happen for a reason, and for whatever reason, the people that were supposed to be for our show here are here.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
whatever was going to happen last time, that would have been fun, but this is how it was meant to be. And
That's
I just
right.
think it's so sweet. And I'm looking out, and I'm seeing several familiar faces, and it makes my heart just leap. It just, when your family comes out and your friends who are like family, it's just so special. And I felt that since I was little bitty, and I'm not little bitty anymore, but I still feel it because I see some of the same faces. My cousin Gail, she.
oh, if we start introducing family, we'll be here all
Oh my
night.
goodness! I mean, besides my sister Vernell, Gail used to play instruments and inspired me to sing. You may not know you ever inspired me. I might not have ever told you that, but you did. You and Aunt Janita and Vernell, the Gary Jamboree, y'all. That was the place to be when you were in the 70s.
Hey, sure. Hey, does Christy sing from the real
Yes,
She sounds-
Christy sings.
Come up here.
Christy,
I'm serious. Come up here.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
that would be fun.
While Christy's coming up here, I just want to take an opportunity to thank Texas A&M for whooping Alabama's ass. Thank you so much.
Where's
Thank
it going?
God.
I can put it right here.
No, she can get it right here by Linda.
Hey, I didn't plan this.
This is Christy.
Christy, Linda, Christy.
This will be a show closer.
I would love for you to sing this song with me.
Got ulterior motive. We're wanting to move back to Texas because we're figuring y'all going to secede from the
We might need a place.
Hey, Linda and Lang and Bill, you guys, I'm glad you were here tonight. I'm glad you got to play here for a first time. You promise y'all will come back?
Oh, we'd love to.
Don't say it if you don't mean it.
No, I mean it. We want y'all to come back.
Would y'all come back if we come back? Okay, since they said they'd come back, we'll come back.
There we go. We're in.
So, Christy, do you know, you're so young, this song, when you were a little girl, if that, was a hit for me and Reba? You ever heard it? Well, I don't expect you to know it off the top of your head tonight because we have put you on the spot.
Oh, good. Good, she knows it.
But Did you go to the concerts?
I went to, yes, every Reba concert in high school. Every Reba concert in high school.
You know, we used to do the rodeos.
I know, and I went to every one.
You did? So we'll do a short version of, because we have so overstayed our welcome, I'm afraid, tonight. But it's the version is all you got to do is what you do. Okay.
And I don't do it very often.
That's all right. You're here tonight and you're saving me because the duet's no fun without another person.
And I am not Reba.
That's all right. She'd be proud you got up here and were brave enough to do it. Here we go. So how about I go? Oh, does he love you?
Does he love you?
Like he loves me.
Like he loves me.
Does he think of you?
Does he think of you
when he's
holding me?
And does he whisper?
Does he whisper
all his fantasies? Does he love you?
Does he love you
like he's been loving me? Shouldn't I lose my temper?
Oh, shouldn't I be afraid?
'Cause I have everything to lose.
I have nothing to blame.
Oh yeah. Oh, does he love you?
Does he love you
like he loves me?
Like he loves me.
Does he think of you?
Does he think of you
when he's holding me? And does he whisper?
Does he whisper all
his fantasy? Does he love you?
Does he love you like he's been loving me?
You finish. You finish.
Does he love you?
Yeah, girl.
That was such an honor. Thank you.
You're going to be on the YouTube. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge, huge round of applause to Mr. Bill Whyte, Mr. Lang Scott, and Miss Linda Davis.
Thank you, folks.
Can Bill leave us laughing? Yes. Okay. Hey.
And we thank Christy for being brave to come up here and put her on the spot.
What
Thank
a sport.
you.
Thank you so much.
Way to go, girl.
I'm just going to impose this on y'all. I just want to leave everybody in a laughing, funny mood. Bill, why don't you do that little Cletus T. Judd song that you wrote? And we'll end you with this one. This is
On an
on an upbeat. Kind of.
How you are. The CDs. There's some suitcases
How are we
over
gonna
there.
do that? I don't even know.
Just open up and get what you want.
Wow.
We'll figure that out. But Kyle, you are the most kind and prepared, which we so appreciate, host.
Oh.
And thank you for making us feel welcome at your house,
Isn't he a nice
at your
man?
barn.
Man, well, it's my pleasure.
Yeah,
It's my
Kyle.
pleasure. Thank you.
And this is like the 15th year birthday month for
Do-si-do.
Do-si-do.
Sure is.
So we're excited to be part of that
And
celebration.
Steve said that the next time that we come back, y'all can bring all your grandkids, and he's going to have free pony rides outside.
Well, okay then. All right, here we go. Here's that Cletus song. Well, me and Bobby Ray were going down to a pickup joint just out of town. You know, a meat market. where you pick up chicks? Well, knowing Bobby Ray as I do, he'll be going home alone before the night is through. He's just too dang picky. Always wants to score big. Well, I'm not leaving here alone. I'm gonna compromise early on, so I'm going ugly early tonight. She may not be a beauty queen, but that's all right. I ain't a-waiting around for one that looks good in the light. So I'm going ugly early tonight. We took you to church, now we're taking you to hell. Boy, I'm telling you. So Bobby, I says, please don't stare, but check those two standing over there. He says, you mean the good-looking blonde and the one with the big zits? I said, that's right, now here's my plan. I ain't going for Miss Scandinavian, her little chubby friend. That's my pick. You can drink 'em pretty, but not skinny. And if you get too picky, Kyle, you ain't getting any. So I'm going ugly early tonight. She may not be a beauty queen, but that's all right. I ain't a-waiting around for one that looks good in the light. So I'm going ugly early tonight. And there's more. Then all of a sudden, to my surprise, the good-looking one's giving me the eye, and I'm fixing to move up from a 2 to a 10. She said my place is not far from here. I'll grab my purse, you pay for the beer, and I was getting pretty puffed up until she turned to her friends. I guess she didn't think I'd hear those hurtful words she whispered in little Chubby's ear. She said, I'm going ugly early tonight. Now, you women should be ashamed of yourself right there. Because right up until then, you're just shooting daggers at me over this song, and then you go, oh, he's ugly, that's cool. She said, I'm going ugly early tonight. His friend is better looking, but I ain't got the time. And I ain't waiting around for one that looks good in the light. She said, I'm going ugly early tonight. Well, you know she really hurt my pride, but way down deep inside, guys, I'm glad she's going ugly early tonight. There's our show, folks. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bill Whyte, Mr. Lang Scott, and Linda Davis.
Thank you.